Steve, how are you? Enjoying the English weather?
Yeah, today's a wee bit better than it has been, but yeah, hopefully we'll get a summer this year.
Talk to me about the Eredivisie. How do you rate it? I think obviously managed in it. How do you compare it to the rest of the leagues around Europe?
When I first went there, I was quite surprised. It's a team full of youngsters, and Holland is a country that develops players, gets them to a certain level, and then sells them on. So it's a breeding ground for younger players to move on to bigger things, and that's the impression that I got, and that's what I saw in another year back. They develop good players. They've got good coaches. It's a coaching environment, coaching philosophy, and the coaches coach the talent. If the talent gets to a certain level, then they're sold on. And what they produce is a kind of a conveyor belt of younger players who come through. So one goes, and the next one comes through, he goes, the next one comes through. So it reaches a certain level, and then they have to move on.
Do you think that's sad in that respect, that you're never going to see the Ajaxes, PSV and the rest of them kind of really challenge in Europe because of the fact you get to that level before they drop off and start again?
I mean, the thing that surprised me, and at 20 we had lots of games in Europe, and I thought, could we survive in Europe? And I've got to say, we reached last 32, last 16. I think they got to also the quarterfinals 2 years ago. You saw Ajax this season. Performances against Man City and Real Madrid and Dortmund were excellent, and they got into the Europa League, finishing third in that group of death. So I think I was surprised how we could compete and compete well in Europe, not in the Champions League, but in the Europa League. We were okay. That surprised me.
As you say, there's some great players that come out of Holland and filter into the rest of Europe. They've got a decent national team, yet the league itself is never up there with the likes of La Liga, the Premier League, Serie A, the Bundesliga. Can you ever see it kind of getting into that top bracket?
I don't think it will. It's it's a small country, but it's a football country. It's a coaching country. Everybody is a coach. Everybody has an opinion, and I think that money talks, and they haven't got the finance. They haven't got the money. They haven't got TV revenue. They haven't got the fan base. Only the top clubs have that. They dominate the Eredivisie and get into Europe, and it really is. They know their market, they know their place, and I think that's one advantage that they've got, and credit to them. They know where they are, what they've got, what their league is, and they know it won't compete with the top five, but it's just underneath that, and it knows it produces players. It plays good football. It has to play good football. It has to be different than other leagues, and it is.
Let's delve into a bit. Wilfried Bony has been scoring goals for fun in that league this season. He's been linked with a couple of clubs over here, West Ham, one of their names. What does he bring to a team?
Goals. He's a goal scorer. He's phenomenal. I remember when I first went there and just come back from the Africa Cup, and he played, his first game was against, I couldn't believe the size of him. Physically strong, quick, and scores goals. And scores goals from 30 yards, tap-ins, headers. He's got the full repertoire. A little bit reminds me of Yakubu when he came over here, and I had him at Middlesbrough. And so I've watched him, and he's been the difference for Vitesse Arnhem, why they are where they are at the present moment, because of Boney's goals. Can he play in the Premier League? Big question mark. I think we might get a chance to see that.
What kind of price you think someone's going to have to pay for him?
I don't know. I mean, looking at him, we at 20 we sold Luke de Jong to Gladbach for 15 million euros, and he's about that level, I would say. And someone will take a gamble on him on that price. He could be worth a fortune.
Let's move it on to England. What do you make of the current crop of England players playing at international level?
Yeah, I think we've got a good crop coming through, good young players. I think it's quite. I think it's quite exciting. I think there's a bit of freshness about them, the likes of Welbeck's and Young's, Wilshere, Chamberlain's coming through. I think it's quite exciting. You know, I think they're growing. They're in transition. They've got to be given time. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to have good halves and bad halves, like they have just done. But I think you know, the process of developing our young players has been started a few years ago, and it's coming through now.
Should they qualify for Brazil? Now most fans have kind of calmed down and realised it's not going to happen. What is a realistic target out in Brazil?
Well, I think you're quite right. The biggest difference I've noticed since coming back here, been in Holland and Germany, is the expectations of the fans, the expectations of the media are now more realistic. They realise that England's not going to win the World Cup or the Euros, and it's difficult qualifying, and we haven't got the players to go to that next level, past a quarter-final, semi-final. We haven't got that. We will compete, as we always do. We will get to a certain level, but I think, you know, it'll take a few more years before the work which has been done behind the scenes will bear fruition, and we'll be able to compete into semi-finals and finals.
How are they viewed in Holland? You know, if England are playing a qualifier and it's at a different time to Holland.
They know it's difficult. They know it's difficult, but you know, we I've been abroad, and we haven't, as coaches, got a lot of respect from abroad, and players have not got a lot of respect from abroad. But they know that we're organised, we're disciplined, we'll fight, and they know that playing any English team is a very, very difficult game.
Finally, what's next for Steve McClaren?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've been in Holland, Germany, Holland again, and I want to come back, and I want to manage in England again. I think there's, you know, I've been out now a few weeks. I've been out previously before, and you know, you miss it, and the buzz and the challenge, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's what's the next challenge. So I want to work back in England. I've had experiences abroad. I want to use them, and I think I can use them, and come back here and wait for the next opportunity, next challenge, and looking forward to getting back into it again.